Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. So today we're doing the semifinals. That's going to be range versus semi for the first set, and then we're going to do nomad versus kavapu for the second set, and hopefully I can live cast the finals. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, well, it's funny because we went through this whole process of like groups and everything in the round of 8, and then the 4 we ended up in the semifinals were the 4 that automatically qualified based on MMR. So I guess it all adds up.
Oh, were they? I didn't even realize.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the 4 that got the bye in the group stages. Alright, so for this first match, I'm actually really interested to see this because... So Range is like... He's been doing really, really well lately. He showed me a screenshot of his like Smurf account he was laddering on, and he went like 14-0 or 20-something and 0, I don't remember what it was, but he was like 2300 plus MMR before he finally got his first loss. So he's been like performing really well lately on his Smurf. But I know he doesn't get to play as much as he wants to. And on the flip side of it, Semi, who also does not get to play as much as he wants to, is like very much like a knowledge god. He like really knows builds, he really understands like what he's looking at and what it means and like the correct response. So he feels like because he doesn't get to play much, he gets to study a lot. So he like really hasn't mapped out the correct responses to things. I'm really curious to see like how this is gonna play out in that sense. Already we got a 12 Nexus versus 3 Zealot, which is on one hand really, really bad for Semi. This 10-12 technically just auto wins, but it is cross spawn, and we are actually cross scouting first. This is kind of crazy.
Is the cross scout first a common thing?
Not for 10-12. There's no reason to cross scout 10-12 because you're going to be able to scout the 2 spots before. The 3 zealots are out anyway, so they would just go to the other spot if you don't scout them. But we're actually going to get the cross scout. Semi should also go cross scout, I think. Oh, maybe that's PVT actually. That's PVT. So he's not going to scout him in time. He'll get confused. He may end up in scouting because of this.
Oh, that would be really tragic.
Yeah.
I think the Zealot would arrive before...
Can't hear the other guy?
The build regardless, okay. But... okay, yeah, we got the Forge. I was expecting almost a Forge first when I saw that pylon. So with this pylon from ranged, is he going to make a shield battery?
Yeah, that's what that would be for. Is that better, guys, for Keen's volume? Alright, we have the cannon starting, but the Zealot's already here with the probe. We do have an extra Zealot and like the probe drill coming down as well. Shield battery coming down. We'll see what Semi's response is going to be behind this. I think he's still making Zealots instead of going gas. So there's not going to be like the quick Dragoon follow-up like he would normally do because it is 12 Nexus, so he's just going to continue pumping Zealots. And I think Semi's just dead. It's actually a little bit weird, but the cannon and the probe body blocking, which is like really nice, but then we got the shield battery.
Yeah, wow, I'm surprised he's trying to run up the ramp with that Zealot, but
yeah, I thought maybe he could have fought, but yeah, I guess Semi's gonna hold then.
Yeah, I was expecting him to try to kill the cannon, because even with that probe block, 2 Zealots wailing on the cannon with the shield battery.
That's kind of what I thought too, right? Like with the shield battery, the Zealots are like already there. You can even target probes and kill extra probes and get damage there. We got the 2 Zealots just kind of AFKing back here. I think Range could have pushed his way through, but not feeling like super confident, I guess. And now we're getting like the 2 extra Zealots coming out for Semi, and this is done now. One thing I was gonna say, or I was kind of thinking, on Radeon, like cross spawn, the travel distance is so insanely long that I actually wasn't sure that he would die for going 12 Nexus. Like I said, I do think Range had a little bit of an opportunity. He was just a little more like confident. But yeah, Semi holds at the end, and he's up 2 workers right now with a completed Nexus.
And Strange doesn't even have a gas yet, so that's not a nice feeling to have for him.
Yeah, he's got more Zealots coming, and he's continuing to pump Zealots, so I think we're just gonna go. Like, we're just gonna try and bust it.
Do you think he's just gonna wait for these like last two and then go, because he's not even making it anymore right now.
Yeah, they're gonna drop
Guess
a
he's just
Nexus
gonna
here,
make
and we're gonna
Nexus.
go for this. And then there's the gas as well.
But
I mean, there's a
Semi
lot
being
of
extra
zealots.
safe, adding another cannon. With all these cannons, I mean, I don't see a way that Ranged is going to be able to pull this off, because he can just pull probes.
Oh, and the forge to like reduce the surface area too was really nice.
Oh yeah, that was perfectly timed.
And yeah, it's looking pretty rough for ranged. Got a massive deficit. We're behind 4 workers, we're down a Nexus, and Semi has his tech up and running.
Yeah, he even got his he got his gas up earlier. Not looking good.
Not
but hey, this
good.
PvP, right?
Oh, say that again?
I said this is PvP though, right?
It's PvP, but
Although, like you said, it was a build order disadvantage for Semi actually. So this is more like when I play and I go 9 full speed against a 12 hatch and still lose.
it was a build disadvantage, but it was a perfect spawn on probably the best map for this for this matchup of
Sure,
builds.
yeah.
Hey, what's up, Face? Yeah, because I don't remember exactly what the time is, but I know the travel distance for cross spawn on this map is like one of the longest travel distances like ever. It's pretty insane.
That's interesting because this is a standard sized map, isn't it?
Is it?
It's like 248 by 248 or something.
Yeah, something. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, I don't know exactly what makes the travel distance so long. You can just kind of tell by looking at it, like they seem so far away. I guess because it's
yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
I like that this goon got out. It's kind of fun.
That's kind of weird. We got a scouting goon. What's that about?
It's PvT style.
Well, confirms what he needs to know. We still had the probot on the map, so I'm wondering what that was. Does see the cannon. Oh, you know what? We're gonna jump on top of this cannon with the 2 DTs in this goon, and it looks like ranged. May not have seen the blurs here. It's very hard to spot. Obviously, if you're not looking directly at it, you're not gonna see it.
Yeah, he is going back now though, so maybe he did.
Hmm.
But he could also, he probably can't sneak by. Those goons are too close to the ramp. I think.
He's gonna use this goon to tank. Maybe not.
No.
I think he's gonna use the goon to tank and try to kill the cannon.
He is.
Yeah, I think this is what we're gonna be going for.
Go.
Yeah, so here we go. Range does get a little bit of a body block, but
Oh wow!
and it goes down, and 1 DT is here, and we have no detection, so that's GG, yep.
Yeah, it is shocking how quickly cannons go down.
They're actually surprisingly brittle, yeah. I do still feel like Range did have an opportunity to get aggressive and kill it, but he wasn't super confident, and yeah.
Yeah, I still think that if he did jump onto that cannon when he had the 2 zealots like made away, even with the pro block, like Semi played it really well, but
yeah, he did.
I think the cannon would have fallen.
Yeah, I don't want to harp on Range too much, but I do feel that way. I feel like whichever zealot's getting targeted by the cannon, like have that one just absorbing the shield battery the whole time, right? Like cannons are very brittle, like we just saw. We had the extra zealots coming. Yeah, I think it was potential for sure, but hard to say. Looks like we're playing retro for game 2, so we're gonna go ahead and hop into this one.
One other thing to note, we did, you were talking about both players sort of, being very skilled, Semi being very knowledgeable and so on. But not having enough time because we're adults now. But one thing I was going to mention that I forgot to last game is both these players I know were they're also pretty old school, but they were very skilled back in the day as well.
Yeah,
I think they were both around IB, low A on IC Cup, which
is
probably around S rank nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, Range, we know Range has hit us multiple times now. Semi's if Semi had the time to play, I feel like he would easily reach S rank.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Simi's also a really good 2v2 player in his own right.
I've actually never watched him play 2v2. I'm still figuring some things out for 2v2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've learned that if I don't go 9 pool, we win way more often.
Yeah, Zerg, I feel like, I mean, I am not, I'm a 2v2 newbie myself, but I always feel like going 12 pool is much safer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm literally just going to be like,
well, I've started to
bitch.
really lean into the 9-9 because you get enough lings out early to survive if you're getting 9 pulled, but then you also get that hatchery on your ramp quickly, so you can get the sunken out very quickly if you need it, if you're getting targeted. And then you can like choose to either like go into drone or continue ling production. I actually really, really like it.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. I haven't really thought about that because I haven't played 2v2 in like years, but yeah, 9-9, especially like the modern version that people do in like CVT now, seems like it would be really good in 2v2.
Ranged, unfortunately, going for 10-12 and getting crosspawn again on another very large map. I'm actually surprised. I didn't know that he plays 10-12. I kind of thought he didn't like it, so I'm not sure what is making him kind of lean towards this strategy against Semi.
Yeah, so I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but
the build also wasn't quite right here. Like these 3 zealots are very late.
10-12 like 3 zealot thing was kind of just like an anti-cheese sort of thing.
It's good against cheese. It's a tempo play, but when you're going for 3 zealot against a standard opener like we're looking at here, Semi did actually go for the second zealot as well, so it's going to be a bit hard to break through here. But when you're going for 3 zealot, like what you're looking for is you want to kill like 1 zealot ideally, at least. You need to kill like 1 or 2 probes, and you want to get them off of gas mining, and it's also for scouting. So like the other big thing is like you get inside and you should see like the 3 pylons. If you don't see 3 pylons, you get suspicious. You're gonna see if the core spinning, what kind of tech they have, all that good stuff. So it's like it's just kind of like a very safe build. Also, we had this probe. This is really good. We used this drill to screw up the AI of that zealot, so it wasn't attacking.
Yeah, that was amazing.
We're gonna kill 2 zealots, which is already good, and a probe here, right? Okay, probe goes down. And the other reason this build is, like, the other thing you're kind of looking for with this build, is you just get to continue probe production the entire time. So even without kills, you get to stay like relatively even. But if you kill like 2 or 3 probes and like the zealot, you're very happy.
Right. So 2 zealots and 1 probe down.
I would say this is perfectly fine for ranged.
Yeah.
And like we saw that it was 2 gate. I don't think he got to see the sport core spinning rather. But he should be pretty safe. Like we're gonna have the 2 goons, 3rd and 4th starting now. He's up 3 workers. The only thing about this build is you're gonna have this big deficit on the range upgrade. So there's a while where you're just kind of defending your ramp. It's very dangerous to come out on the map before you have range, because you're gonna have that deficit, and you can just get out microed.
Ranged as well.
Right? Black Man, thanks for the raid. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is like super aggressive actually to do this.
And he's not even... Oh, okay, now he's shooting.
Yeah, a little bit of a split shot there, which made him lose the trade a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we need to leave. Like I said, he's going to have the range upgrade here, and he can kind of just kite range to death. Unless we're not looking.
And we weren't.
Yeah, it kind of cancels out the advantage we have here, so we're actually going to take a losing trade.
No, he's going to lose both of them. Or maybe...
It'll get cut off here, I think. No? Maybe not. But Simi with 4 goons here, he is going to be fine. He's going to lose this other goon, though.
Oh, so close. So close to getting away.
It's the counter kill, at least. Behind this, we have Robo for both players. Ranged is up 5 workers right now, though. That's like the big takeaway from here.
Yeah.
The tech is going to be basically the same. We got observers coming for Semi. And part of what's making Semi go observers is that Range was getting aggressive without range on his goons, which is a little bit of an odd follow-up to this, and I think it's just got Simi a little bit worried about what could be behind this.
Yeah. Do you think that was an intentional decision by Ranged, or was it just like a lucky outcome? Because like now the one advantage that Semi had coming out of this was his tech advantage, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of canceled out because he's just going observers.
Yeah, he went shuttle, observer, support base, so he definitely got thrown off a little bit, I feel. I mean, I guess it's still okay, right? The support bay builds really quickly, so maybe the build order is actually fine. I take that back, this is fine. Going shuttle, observer.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, it seems to be. Like, the support bay finished, the reverse starts as soon as the observer comes out, so it actually matched up pretty well, so I feel like Simi knows something there that I did not realize.
But the Nexus for Range is like 60% right now, and he still has the probe advantage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically it's going to come down to Range not taking damage from the Reaver. If he doesn't take damage from the Reaver, then he's going to have this massive lead. Simi's looking like he wants to take the expansion, so there's not going to be like an all-in or anything coming, so Range, without playing Reaver, should be able to just hold on with Master Dragoon. Yeah, Observer's coming out.
Semi is still very paranoid, it seems like, because he still has this probe scout. So it seems like he's not only worried about DT, but possibly like some sort of like 3 or 4 gate all in or something.
Yeah, well, with how that went, because Range got to get he got aggressive, and it totally caught Semi off guard for sure. And Range actually got this like decent trade where it makes it where Semi can't safely walk across the map anymore. Because he doesn't know if it's like a 3-gate follow-up, he doesn't know if it's DT, he doesn't know if it's like expansion.
Right.
So yeah, he just chooses to play back, play safe, make sure he doesn't die to DT. And then now we're doing this push with our Reaver advantage. And Range did come out and lost a goon there at least.
Yeah, this is, I mean, it's kind of scary for Range, but that's a lot of goons.
Yeah, it's a bit scary, but we do have 4-gate production right now running. And we do have to like force our way through this stroke as Simi. As long as we're not eating like really big Reaver shots, like that one, oh my god.
Wow.
It actually gets the shuttle with the Reaver inside of it, but there's enough goons left over to push this back. And we're attacking our own pylon, unfortunately, so there's like a wasted volley there. And Ranged is barely gonna hold on, I think. We got several more goons about to finish here. Only 2 more coming from Simi, so Range is gonna hold on. He's actually still gonna keep this worker lead.
Yeah.
So when the dust settles, he's still ahead, but that got very, very dicey. He's done a really good job of his non-stop pro production, even during the fights.
Yeah, I lost count of how many probes exactly he lost, but I think at max it was like 4, and he was still up about 39 even after that fight.
Yeah, the fight finished, and I looked at his main. He had 4 probes that were AFK, or 3 or 4 that just like finished producing. So he had queued up several probes like when the fight started.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't hate that at all.
Oh no, absolutely not. I mean, I you see even like Snow, the best Protoss in the world, does that. Because it's just impossible to be that on the ball that you're like getting every probe going while you're doing like extremely important micro.
Yeah, and I was actually even today was talking to Hawk about it with one of the CPL players. He was explaining like you don't need to try and optimize like queuing like 1 Marine at a time. Like he was playing SK Terran, right? And I was like, you don't. We were explaining you don't need to queue like 1 Marine and just optimize your building when you're trying to fight. Like when you're gonna fight, go queue up like 3 Marines on each barrack, spend all your money, and then you can just focus on like really microing properly. Like even the best players will do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I mean, Snow, the best Protoss in the world probably right now, does it. You see Bonneth do it all the time, and Bonneth is like, I guess now he's the 2nd best foreign Protoss after DeWalt, but you know, well, he is a player who's
3rd if
very
you're not counting me.
centered.
If you're counting. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say Boneth is very like a player that very much so prioritizes micro over anything else. But yeah, so you'll regularly see him just like queue up like a ton of probes.
Yeah, this navy color is the worst. We need to designate allowed colors for 1v1s. Got the shuttle running on the right side here. It gets slightly intercepted. Is going to turn around and save this at least. Another observer goes down from Semi.
Kind of surprised he didn't try to like make a U-turn and go back in. But
and where?
There's no way he could have known that there wasn't goons in the natural at the time.
Yeah, exactly. Like, even if he knows there's not goons there, you don't really want to do that because it's basically a suicide mission, like a kamikaze mission, we'll call it. And the Reaver advantage is like the only thing that he can like really rely on right now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the correct decision, but
yeah,
it's not the decision that I would have.
It's not the manly decision.
No.
Pushing through this choke is really hard, and I actually really like it when yeah, and when Zealots get mixed in, it's actually pretty good against Reaver because if you're not targeting goons, then they're just gonna waste like a scarab. If you're sitting in just a few Zealots at a time, the scarabs will just hit like 1 or 2 Zealots in it, and it totally goes to waste. You definitely want them hitting the bulk of Dragoons.
Yeah, this looks basically impossible for Semi to break into.
Ooh, good Reaver shot though. Kills like 7 or 8 probes. Actually gets out. So nice little.
Now they're equal on workers.
Yeah, nice little swing around there from Semi.
But I mean, range still has the advantage of being up workers for like 10 minutes now. So
yeah, he's got the other player rage is Semi. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, he's got the tech advantage as well. Like we had DTs coming out for whatever reason, maybe for denying expansions possibly. But Storm, right? Storm is the counter to Reavers. Storm tech is just better than Reaver. It's just obviously you can't go straight to Storm most of the time because you'll die to a Reaver push in the meantime, so you have to play your own Reaver. But with the game playing the way it did, Range gets to skip Reavers and get into his High Templar tech here after defending. So he's gonna have the tech advantage. He has a light worker lead, but like you mentioned, he's just outmined him all game, and you start to see like the supply ballooning. The other thing about Templar tech is it's very cheap. Like High Templar speed lot is very cheap and very powerful. You'll see like supply quite often just explode when they're getting into that tech. Simi's gonna push into the third here, but Range did react fast enough. He's gonna get up here in time and basically get a ton of like free Dragoons almost.
Oh yeah, that was brutal.
Yeah, Simi just looking to maybe deny the third, and yeah, you see here the DTs just going to the expansions. One actually makes it into the natural, and there is not an observer around. At all. We're gonna lose, yeah. So GG is called. Has no answer to this DT that just randomly showed up, so I was gonna give him a hard time for making that DT, but gets aggressive with it and actually wraps up the game there. Alright. So yeah, that series, or that match, ties it up 1-1, and we're going into Game 3 of this best of 3 on Neo Dark Origin. 2-player maps. Makes Protoss want to cheese. We'll see what happens.
We haven't seen any cheese whatsoever from either of these players yet. Do you think there's any potential that we'll see like a proxy gate or something?
I don't think Ranged like ever does cheese PvP, not that I've ever seen. Simi, on the other hand, you never know with Simi. He knows like 1,000 different builds for each matchup, and you never know which one he's going to randomly pull out, so we'll see what he goes for here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't played against Ranged too much, but he definitely seems like the player who always goes for the the standard like safe macro build orders.
Yeah, I wonder if him going for 10-12 is because of his opponent, because like I said, I never see Range play 10-12. I've actually talked with him about why I think it's bad, even though I do it all the time. Mm-hmm. And like proper counters to it and stuff. But here we see him doing it 2 games in a row.
Yeah, so whenever I play PvP, I pretty much only go 10-12 3 Zealot, but that's just because I don't have very much game knowledge and I just want to be safe. And sometimes I can like cheese out a win if I get a Zealot advantage.
Yeah,
But
and it's really good against cheese. Like,
yeah,
that's just kind of the thing. I think it's a safe build, albeit not a good build.
yeah, exactly. It's just like middle of the road, kind of.
Mm-hmm. And you see
It's like
range,
a worse version of 12 pool in ZVZ.
right? We see range like really scouting. So he wants to play standard this game. He scouts the bottom of his base. He makes sure to fully scout his natural. He's going to check the third base. He really doesn't trust Semi at all.
Yeah, that's crazy that he even scouted the bottom of his base already.
We got Semi going for the 10-12, which is really funny to me because Semi also talks about how this is a really bad build. So,
Does he?
so it seems that we all know it's a bad build, but it's just it's simple and it feels safe. And yeah, I get it. After getting 10-12 2 times in a row, I can understand why he would want to do it back. Or like even if it's just like defensive, like when I play against the 3 Zealot and I'm doing the 3 Zealot, I've never lost a game with that opener when we did the same opener.
Do you just you identify that they're doing the same thing and then you just immediately start cutting corners?
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I see them doing the same thing, I cut like my Zealots, I start my gas sooner. I will start to make my Zealots when I see them coming out so that I can like get the extra tech much quicker. Then I get like the early goon advantage and use that to fast expand. This is like how I've played against it every time and it's never failed me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's another brutal thing about mirror matchups is even when you're doing the same build, the person who like gets more scouting information has a supreme advantage.
Okay, so this is, I was curious if you do this. This is something I discussed with Range, is when someone's doing 10-12, I told them, just from my perspective, I was like, just mana pile on them. Because they don't plan on making any more units until a Dragoon. That pylon is going to sit there for so long.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. That's a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to get way more value than it would normally get, because, like, you see how long it's going to be until Dragoons are out to deal with this?
Yeah. I mean, the core isn't even finished yet.
Yeah. So I really, really like that play. Unfortunately, the probes did manage to get out. I was trapped, but it's still going to do plenty of damage. So now we just need to see what kind of damage these ults get done. Range actually going to be able to pick one off pretty early, so this is a really good start for Range. And the second Goon gets out as well.
Yeah, this looks dead in the water already.
Mm-hmm.
Losing that Zealot, it unfortunately got body blocked by Semi's own other Zealot.
Yeah.
Let's see how this one probe kill.
Yeah, we get one probe kill. Oh, I get popped over. It's really unlucky.
Off. Oh, that is so good for Range.
Alright, so what Range is going to do, based on what we discussed and what I've seen him doing against like DN Max and stuff, is you drop the second gateway here. He was having a little bit of a hard time, like, kind of cleaning up the Zealot. But all in all, like you see, he's up one worker. And this pylon got so much value. It's only just now about to be killed.
Yeah, how long has it been there now? It's been like 2 minutes.
Yeah, so for you guys out there, whenever you're playing against 10-12 and you got the probe in their base, always do this mana pylon because, I mean, you see, like, this was insane value. Okay, so the other follow-up is going second gateway relatively quickly, and you're going to have this range advantage that you can kind of abuse here. And if they try teching, like we see Semi going a quick Citadel, trying to get into DT, so he's going to have to make Zealots now in order to get his archives. But there is a lot of micro potential here for Range to get a lot of value when his range is done.
He's not making Zealots, though. He's...
Oh, and Semi moving out, not paying attention. It's going to lose one Dragoon completely for free. And I think he's just going to die.
Yeah, this is looking pretty rough.
Yep, he has vision up there.
He didn't start any other units yet.
So first Zealot goes down for free. And Semi just going to try and like buy time for these DT, but I mean, it's It's so far away.
Yeah, the Templar haven't started yet. I mean, the Archives isn't even finished. The Dark Templar aren't. It seems like he's just resigned himself to death.
Yeah, he's like really banking on these DT. Just he's gonna try and buy time until they get out. We do have the Robo on the way here, almost done for ranged. So
This is a Hail Mary if I've ever seen it.
yeah, so even if these DT like get out and clean this up, Range is gonna have plenty of time. He's gonna get so much damage done in the meantime. Last Dragoon's about to fall. Probes sacrificing themselves to the DT. So one DT should run down, and the other one should block the ramp. That's what we're gonna try to do, I think.
Run down though. I mean, well, okay, it's out now, but we already got our knobs. Well, we got an observatory making for ranged.
Yeah, so all Range has to do is exactly this right here. He's stalling, buying time, body blocking as much as he can, slowing it down, and then we can put some goons on the ramp.
Yeah, I mean, you can just go back.
Gonna try and go for the counter, but this is why we leave the DT here behind. So this isn't gonna be able to get up, so he's gonna have to turn back around now. Observer, almost done. Not gonna get anything done with this DT, and I think Simi will probably GG out once this dies.
I'm honestly shocked that, like, you know, you called out that he should have been making zealots, but he just wasn't producing anything from his gateways for quite a while.
Yeah, just getting that extra meat to buy time while we were, because he was floating like 600 or so at that point.
Yeah. But, you know, in these tournament games, I mean, there's, like, tournament nerves, there's the aspect of, like, getting tilted. So sometimes players just don't make the most rational choice, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, not everybody can be me.
Yeah, I'm guilty of it myself, obviously. I mean, you know, I don't get angry at myself. I just get, like, depressed and discouraged.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's the best response. It's just crippling depression.
I don't know if it's the best response, but it is one of the responses.
It is a response.
Yeah.
Okay, we do have the DT kind of hidden here at the third. Gonna try and maybe get like a sneaky run by, but ranged is leaving a couple games behind with the observer to make sure like nothing like that happens. And we see Citadel coming down for ranged. He may go into his own DT. He sees with this observer there is no robotics. And you often hear this, is the counter to DT is unironically making your own DT.
Yeah.
He's going to take some free swipes here at these goons. Going to try and allow Simi to come down the ramp to maybe take his own natural. Does actually get like a fair amount of value. We have 3 goons that are not joining the fight though. We like really desperately needed those, but GG is called. I mean, it's an unwinnable position anyway, so.
Yeah. Well, it's tragic, but.
And Range is going to take the 2-1 victory, making him our first finalist for this tournament. Yeah, I'm pretty excited for this series because, as most of you guys know, I have a massive losing record against Kavapu. I went from being really confident in my PvZ to playing against him a bunch and then feeling like I need to quit Protoss. So, I also hold Kava in pretty high regard. He is a high A, low S ranked player, and same for Nomad as well. Running the very appropriate name Protoss Ape. Understanding exactly what he is. Nomad, on the other hand, though, I feel like Nomad is really good when he's good, and then sometimes he just has like I guess focus problems as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, like sometimes he looks like me, and then sometimes he looks like an absolute god. So you'd really never know who you're gonna get with Nomad.
Yeah, I just rolling the dice. Yeah, I don't think I haven't watched very much of Nomad, and I don't think I've ever played him, but I do know that he is very highly skilled.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like it's going to be a gateway expand.
So this is kind of interesting because I've heard a lot of chatter about hacks
Hmm.
recently on ladder and stuff. Have you ever ran into a hacker on ladder? Do you
Not
think?
that I am aware of.
Yeah, I don't think I have either, but I also don't. I haven't been very active as of late.
Yeah, I if I've played against hackers, I never even noticed.
I feel like most of the time when people complain about hackers, they're just being salty
Salty,
about a
yeah,
loss.
I think so too. Oh, we have a two
This
gate.
is interesting though.
So we
Two
went.
gate.
But was this 10-12? I wasn't paying attention. This might have been 10-12.
No, it definitely was 10-12. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is
Which is
already very odd.
yeah, it's very strange, especially like I feel like if you're going to go two gate in PvZ, like 10-12 is kind of like hedging your bets. It's a little like if you're going to go two gate it, you might as well go 9-9 or something.
Yeah, it's weird because when you go 10-12, you're already putting yourself like in a position where you have to get some damage done. But it's obviously going to be less likely to get damage than a 9-9 would, so
Yeah, it's like so you just have a couple more probes,
yeah.
but is that really worth it?
And we're even
I
cutting
guess we'll see.
probes right now, so yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. Or Zealot,
And
no,
oh
there's
my
all
gosh,
of its
getting
shield
those.
without
Oh
attacking.
wow, is he going to catch it? Oh, this is absolutely dire for Nomad
Yeah, this
already.
is a disaster. Losing our first Zealot for a single Ling is... When you're going 10-12, like it feels like almost like game over already. But Kava doesn't have gas at least. A good follow-up to someone that's like massing Zealot like this may actually get the Zealot out crazily enough.
Wow,
Yeah,
he
this
saves
is
that.
this is
That
what I
is
mean.
insane that he
Nomad goes
saves
from
that.
looking like me into suddenly like how did we make this work? Zealot got away with 1 HP and actually got some extra value.
And it looks like Kava actually made a couple extra drones.
Yeah, he didn't continue Ling production, even though he saw the 10-12, which is interesting.
I suppose he thought he was so far ahead when he got that.
Yeah,
Wow,
I bet that's
this
what
is
it was.
crazy.
I bet that's what it was. He felt like he was going to kill that Zealot, and he decided to use that to get squeak out a little bit more advantage. But now we have 5 Zealots here, and we don't have a Sunken or enough Lings to handle this right now. This is bad for Kava.
This is insanely bad for Kava. It's not even so much an error in judgment. I mean, because I think oftentimes that's how you should approach things. Like when you identify a weakness,
And
you know, you should
Nomad
try
doing a
to
great
exploit
job
it
there on
as
that
quickly as
Sunken.
possible. But
So he took
in
that
this
creep
case,
to... Sorry, go ahead.
oh, in this case, he just played his cards wrong.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I was just going to say, Nomad did a really good job of getting that creep down to 98 HP so that when it finishes as a Sunken, it will only have 1 HP left, so he just one taps it after it finishes building there.
Oh god, this feels so bad for Kava. I mean, speaking as a Zerg player myself,
I was over here harping on it. I felt like this was not going to work at all. But yeah, I feel like maybe Kava just kind of underestimating the amount of Zealots that were coming, or the pressure that he was going to be under after that initial start.
yeah, definitely he totally underestimated the amount of pressure Nomad would be putting onto him. But also, it's like on the flip side, the one strength about 10-12, I suppose, is that you know, you can keep putting on this pressure while still continuing pro production pretty much indefinitely.
Yep.
And Zerg has to sacrifice economy early in order to stop it. So, you know, we see he has 8 drones and against 20 probes right now, and he still can't deal with the aggressive pressure that Nomad is putting on.
Yeah, it feels like when you're against this build as Zerg, you need to be able to deflect it relatively quickly so you can get back in your pro production.
You either need to deflect it relatively quickly or just kill them.
Yeah, or kill them.
Which I suppose is applicable in any situation, but
Is going to hold this off now and kind of start to stabilize a little bit. But as you pointed out, we have 8 drones against 20 workers right now. Nexus is going to be starting.
Nomad already has a cannon up. He's getting a second Nexus now. This is literally do or die time for Kava. He has to find some sort of way to do insane amounts of damage to Kava, or to Nomad, sorry. I don't see a way out for him.
No, he might just be dead here now. To be honest, we have 6 more zealots coming. We made a few drones for Kava, which he desperately needed.
Trying to salvage the situation by making a couple more drones, but again,
Kava.
Decision. Not that he really had much to work with there.
Yeah, that was over. Kava pointing out, I think, something that Nomad said earlier. Said, so 3 cheese ergs in my group. Great. Meanwhile, he's cheesing Kava.
I actually saw that, and I thought it was such a funny slide against Kava, because
when I think of cheesy, I think of like borderline all-in, where if it gets held, then you're losing, right? But a lot of Kava's builds to me is like, it's expected to do damage, and worst case, it's gonna like equalize the game. Right. Like if you deflect Kava, it's like there's still options for him. He's not like, okay, well, I guess I need to leave the game now, right?
Right. Yeah. I guess I have a little bit of a chip on my shoulder with regards to that, because a lot of StarCraft players in general, even among pro gamers, I feel like will call Zerg cheesy or something, but that's simply because Zerg takes a while to ramp up their economy, but when they do ramp up their economy, it comes very quickly. So sometimes when they're aggressive early, it looks like it's cheese or an all-in or something, but really it's just like a managed sort of macro build. Yeah,
well, the reason is because, right, like Zerg can't be making army and workers at the same time like the other 2 races, so it's like either they're making workers only and they're gonna die, or they're making units to gain some sort of map control, map advantage, get some damage somewhere so they can go back into making workers. I feel like they're like forced into the position of being aggressive in the beginning where they are strongest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, not strongest, because like late game Zerg's pretty insane, but their middle game is typically their mid game is typically a lot weaker than the other 2 races.
Yeah, it's always rough for Zerg in both ZVT and ZVP middle game. Someone made a great thread, like analyzing tens of thousands of replays on Team Liquid a while back, and like in ZVP, especially, you know, obviously it's like Zerg's most advantageous matchup, but like Protoss, I think between like 8 and 16 minutes has a fairly decent like winning percentage.
Yeah, it's that big like Storm Goon push that kills a lot of Zergs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw, I didn't like see the thread myself, but I saw Artosis look at it in his videos.
And it's I didn't look at the whole thing. I didn't look at the ZVT stats, but I assume it's pretty much the same deal in ZVT, because like, well, Terran probably has the advantage both early game and mid game.
This was 9 pull, wasn't it? Yeah, so this was 9 pull, 6 ling.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Nomad.
Wow, is Nomad going to make a Nexus before the second cannon though?
Looks like it. Like that's the plan. There's something okay? Nomad did that I'm not sure. I feel like it's not.
I mean, it's cross spawn, but I mean, he's going to have to pull probes for a while.
Yeah, that's the reason you want the second cannon.
How do you feel about pulling the probes and having them just sit there versus making a second cannon?
I hate it. So for me, what I've kind of learned to start doing is making that second cannon.
Yeah, well, that's the like traditional response, but he did just lose 1 ling and he just goes back.
Yeah, I will say one thing that maybe helps Nomad make this decision. We have 1 ling chasing this probe, so he knows there was only 5 lings coming. And he killed 1 ling, so he actually gets to bring his probes back. This is like a crazy unexpected advantage for Nomad that you shouldn't really get with this build order, I feel.
Yeah, this is really, really bad for the 9 pulling Zerg. Yeah, I feel like you just need to lean into it as the 9 pooler and take the Ling back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can deal with the probe later. But I don't know. I feel like he could have still maybe ran by with those 4 Lings. Like this is the worst of
Well,
this is just the worst scenario for
I don't know if he could
Kava.
have run by. We had the one probe was like blocking between the forge and gateway, so they would have had to go all the way around, and there was still the other 2
Yeah.
probes back behind it. So I don't think they get by.
Well, I don't know. They could have gone like straight up into the mineral line of the natural.
Just sat in the mineral line. You
But
think?
but yeah, then he would have just blocked his joke. So I guess that's a non-issue. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. I guess there is not an ideal situation after losing that Ling and having the other Ling chase the probe.
Yeah, but I would say Nomad did a really good job of. There's actually 2 things I want to point out. Nomad did a really good job of identifying that he was allowed to skip the second cannon and go back to mining. Like this is a dream come true against a 9 pool.
Oh yeah.
The other thing is, I can't believe he didn't send the second probe scout though. If Kavapu was bottom right, I'm curious what Nomad would have done because he would have had to blind to make a decision to either Nexus or Cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, when you do Forge Expand, you're supposed to double scout after scouting the top left, so you can guarantee find out if there's Lings coming or not and respond accordingly. He just took the risk and didn't go for it.
That's, Nomad just says that dog. You know?
But we've seen him die to like random stuff for this, like going Nexus first against like Lings. He's just a risk taker, man.
I feel like you have to take risks like that sometimes in tournament settings, though, right? I mean,
You think even something like that, though?
If you're Terran, you know, you can do whatever you want because Tasagi, but
to me, it just feels like an
Protoss
unnecessary risk.
take some risks.
Either way, gonna pay off. So good for Nomad.
My balance winding is over.
I don't know. Maybe I need to learn to take more risks myself, but I've gotten like so in the habit of like covering all my bases.
Mm-hmm.
That when I see people cutting a corner like that, I'm like, but what if this happened? You would have died. And they'd be like, yeah, I was risking it.
Yeah.
And just in my head, it's like, but why though? Each their own. But this is Kava's pretty standard like macro play from here, and I think this is where Kava is definitely strongest.
Yeah, all things considered, Kava isn't doing poorly right now.
No, his drone count looks totally fine.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, because that opener was so good for Nomad.
This is... I guess it'll get 1 Overlord.
Yeah, did we not make
Not
Scourge?
2,
About to hatch now.
and Kava isn't going to go you to... For all, he's going to go 6
See if Nomad's paying attention here.
Oh, okay. Come on.
A bit of a tough angle. They might could cut right and catch this one. Yeah, you see Kava kind of creeping towards it, and Nomad shying away like a magnet almost.
Oh, that's so... That's actually... Oh my gosh, they can turn back right now. Ah!
Oh, there we go.
Awesome. Yes, Kava, let's go.
But while this is happening, we had these Zealots sneak into the third, and we have nothing here to defend. Unfortunately, we're not looking, so they're not going to get inside and do like any drone damage to start.
Well, killing that Evo chamber is pretty significant.
Oh yeah, we are targeting it. Okay, I didn't realize we were targeting this. And actually, I think it's definitely going to go down. 100% it's going to go down.
There's no way it survives.
My bad, Nomad. You know better than me. I apologize.
I didn't even notice the Zealots because I was so excited to see this.
It was kind of funny to watch. We also have a DT that got into the natural and killed 3 drones, maybe 4. So pretty good.
This is
good harass
this
here
is
from Nomad.
Very bad for Kava. Losing that Evo chamber and losing all this mining time is just going to make his mid game incredibly atrocious.
Mm-hmm. Drone count still does look okay though. Like Nomad was cutting some workers, which you are expected to kind of do in this matchup. You don't want to go too crazy on the workers. Usually around like 55 to 60, even 60 is probably too much. It's usually what you're looking for in this matchup about.
Yeah. If you're on 3 bases, I feel like 50 workers is probably about what you want to shoot for. But I mean, within a minute and a half or so, Kava is going to want to have a fourth up, and when you get that fourth up, you want to aim for 65.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was talking about Nomad. But yeah, for
Oh,
Zerg, I know they want like a big drone count going up to 4 base for sure. I may have said Kava, but I meant Nomad.
Well, so Nomad is he's losing all these Corsairs. He has one single Corsair left that is extremely damaged. So
Yeah, and this
I feel like
is
there's still an opportunity here.
yeah, exactly.
And make a Muta switch and do some damage with that.
Yeah, I'd love to see him get on the third gas with how many Corsair he's killed. If he identifies there's no Corsair being made, the Muta value could be pretty insane. You go up to the 7 Mutas and you start sniping High Templar, and it just makes it where Toss cannot fight your army anymore.
Mm-hmm. And look at how exposed the Protoss mineral lines are.
So here Kava, he sees that there's no Corsair being made. So I wonder if he's going to go into Muta now. Oh yeah, and see instantly, 5 Muta start.
Nice.
I really love this call from Kava Poo here.
Yeah, this is great.
Gonna punish the dying Corsair and then not replacing them. We also don't even have like a DT for Maelstrom if we're gonna be cutting the Corsair, so we'll see. I don't know what our answer or plan is as an answer for the Muta. Maybe we just want to mass good and rely on that.
Yeah, he's finally getting range and he is making a bunch of goons.
Mm-hmm.
4 High Templar, decent energy.
Yeah, they've been banking energy for a while. Usually that's kind of what I hear is you want like 4 Templar, maybe sometimes 5, and then just tons of Dragoons. You make your Templar early and let them bank energy like that. He even has the energy upgrade, so he can go up to 3 storms total per Templar. And it just makes it where you can focus on just going really, really heavy on the Dragoon.
Yeah, and also it's just so hard to micro more than like 4 to 6 High Templar.
Yeah, I'm definitely guilty of overmaking High Templar quite often in every matchup. And just losing tons of them without casting anything.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we throw out a storm and don't really get much value out of it. Second storm either.
Oh, wasting 2 storms, that's big.
Yeah, Kava just kind of dancing here, trying to bait out more storms. Actually, I mean, Kava can be really happy with just that result already. Losing a single Hydra for 2 high storm or for 2 storms is great.
Mm-hmm.
Kava, sorry, Nomad coming out to start this base, but we have no anti-air, and these Muta are just gonna fly in and start killing High Templar.
Oh my god, this is like a... Oh. Zerg wet dream, oh my god.
And Kava casting a beautiful storm, hitting every single High Templar at once and killing all of them. I mean, at that point, this is kind of what you do. Like, they're gonna die.
Kava, yeah, I mean, Kava is like shooting up in supply. He's 30 supply over Nomad now. And that is not a common situation in the ZVP. So
No.
This is a commanding lead right now.
Yeah, like I said, I just feel like this is Kava's strongest game right here. Like, when he plays this style and he gets into his mid game with his build, it just feels like he's always so strong on eco. His army control is like really, really good. The meter harass is always annoying. The Hydra dodging is like really good on storms. Now we have this huge push coming through here. With 0 storms to fight this off after all the High Templar died, there's just no way for Nomad to even get like miracle comeback like fights here. We have 1 storm that's gonna go off. It's gonna do a fair amount of damage, but
My gosh, I actually thought that storm was going to be worse off for Kava than it was, but he reacted so quickly.
Mm-hmm. And now at 13 minutes,
that ideal drone count.
Yeah, we're at the 13-minute mark now. Nomad pushed back onto 2 base, and Kava's just gonna sit here and contain. And he has, like you pointed out, 63 workers. Like, His eco is exactly where he wants it to be on 4 base, so he can just rally units here until Nomad bleeds out.
And honestly, not too far behind in upgrades now. I mean, Nomad has 2 weapons and 1 armor. I'm actually surprised that he went for the second weapon upgrade before the second armor upgrade.
Yeah, I usually don't see that. I'm a big fan of the double forge, though, in this matchup.
That was a decent storm for Nomad, but I think it's too little too late.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like there is no storm that's going to be good enough to ever dislodge Kava from this position, no.
Maybe like 6 to 10 to storm. Just devastate his entire army.
Yeah, Nomad even going for like maybe a counter zealot drop, but it gets spotted immediately.
Yeah, I mean, in like 3-4 minutes or so, he's going to be mined out too, so he really needs to like get 2 bases up right now. Oh my gosh, what was that?
I'm telling you, Storm is a Zerg spell. There are 2 units, well, there's 3 units that are like absolutely devastating to observers. The first one is Hydra, the second one is Scourge, and the third one is Storm. I think Storm kills so many observers.
I think Storm is probably deadlier for the obs.
Yeah, the opening was so good for Nomad. Like, I feel like everything went in his favor. He got away with like maximum greed against a 9 pool. We got in, we canceled the +1 attack, we killed a few drones with our DT, and we did it with like 5 units total.
Yeah.
And then Kava just exploded anyway.
I honestly, as a Zerg player, I might have just quit after like the DT and the Evo died.
Yeah. So coming down to the final game.
It's nice that both of these matchups so far have come down to the final game, right?
Yeah, and I feel like the quality has actually been pretty good. Definitely feel like I can see why these were the 4 players that made it to the semifinals. There's not really been any like glaring, like embarrassing mistakes like the rest of the series with the rest of us.
Like my games.
I mean, mine too, right? Like it happened to all of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, the quality has been very, very good so far. There's really been nothing that I'm looking at where I'm like, you know, ashamed inside to be a part of the league with these people. You want to introduce Kava real quick for us? You got anything to say about him?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, my cat was messing with me. Yeah, so Kava, the orange Zerg at the bottom right, he is a Korean American. He's very, very skilled. I think he's usually about like high A, low S rank, right? I don't know why everyone calls him a cheeser, because he's not. I feel like just all the goons that we play with just balance whine and whine about cheese all the time. But, he's actually quite the standard macro player.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then top left we have Nomad, the medical doctor, not the nurse as everybody likes to meme about. Playing for the team, the clan, Nam, notorious for having thousands and thousands of members, and we can't get more than 3 people to play for BWCL. But Nomad does always show up. He always shows up and he always plays.
Nam, do you guys? I assume it's just open recruiting, right? Like anyone who wants to put on the tag can put on the tag.
I believe so. I don't know exactly, but
can I join Nam while I'm still in DM?
Maybe. We could use some more players. An actual Zerg player for 2v2 would be fantastic. instead of me off-raising a Zerg. Playing Terran
I
for CPO, Protoss for K-League, and Zerg for BWCO.
yeah. Honestly, I would play 2v2 more. I don't want to play 2v2 with 2v2 players.
We can play together. I love like team games, but I have to play my worst race in it just because like double toss is so bad, I feel like.
Yeah, I think Protoss is pretty bad in general.
Alright, so we have this first Zealot come down here and kind of tuck here in the third. If it gets in that mineral pad, like if it gets behind there with that single file, that thing can kill like 7 Zerglings.
This is so funny that you mentioned this because a
Oh,
friend of
well.
mine who doesn't play anymore, but he's like a notorious balance miner, and he would always like get irate about everyone telling him to like put zealots behind the mineral lines
Why?
because he like just refused to believe that it was an advantage.
Okay, okay.
It wasn't particularly high level.
Yeah, I figured.
That needs to be said, but it still just always cracked me up.
Alright, so Nomad actually managed to sneak these 2 Zealots in somehow, which is crazy. Probably did not see this coming at all. I don't know how Nomad keeps doing this. But when he does gateway openers, he always finds damage somehow. So we killed 1 drone, which is already pretty good. We killed a couple Zerglings, maybe 1 Zergling, but now we're holding this ramp, and it's just going to be a pain for Kava to dislodge. And while, yes, he won't really take any more damage, by having to make Zerglings to kill these, he is taking damage in that way. We're not making
And
drones,
also,
we're making Zerglings.
I mean, he's bringing 2 more zealots and another probe, which, I mean, let's see. Kava's still making lings, so
Yeah,
honestly, I feel like Kava will be okay. But I've experienced this a lot, where like I get into a situation like this and I start making drones as quickly as I can after I feel like I'm like in the clear, but then 2 more zealots will just like come and ruin my day.
Yeah, Kawa, well, he spotted it coming with his Overlord, so that's why he kept making more Ling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, obviously, if he didn't see that coming, he's skipping Lings, and it could actually get, like, pretty ugly. And I'm sure it does suck to, like, keep making Zerglings. Even if you see the Zealots coming, it's like, okay, but I really, really need to make some drones.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, we see Nomad already has the worker advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty soon he's going to get his Stargate up. Yeah, he just laid down his Stargate. Oh my gosh, and then Kava tries to send out the Lings searching for the Zealots, but the Zealots were in the house the whole time.
Yet again, they sneak in here. And it's actually pretty much, like, perfect timing from Nomad to actually send these on. Looks like the K launcher for detecting map hack is not working this game.
I mean, he does clean up. I don't think he... Did he lose just 1 drone there?
I think it was 1. I wasn't really watching.
Yeah. Even still, you know, oftentimes I used to think, like, when I was in a situation like this, it's like, okay, killed all the Zealots. This guy isn't going to be able to do anything to me for quite a while. So I'm actually, like, fine. But really, I'm actually not fine. You know?
Yeah, well, that's kind of the back and forth of this matchup when it's like gateway openers like this with the aggression with the Zealots. Is when the Zealots are being aggressive, then you're making Lings to stop them, and then when you stop them, you then start pumping drones. That's why as Protoss you want to preserve your Zealots as much as possible, or at least get really good trades. If at any point you like lose all your Zealots without trading well or killing a bunch of Lings, Zerg now knows that they don't have to worry about anything for an eternity and can just drone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those Zealots didn't get too many drone kills, but they did force out a lot of Lings, and like all of the momentum was just out of Kava's sails. He doesn't even have... Okay, he finally put a 3rd drone on his main gas. Like, he has a Spire coming out, and it'll be in time to stop any Overlord kills, but like, he really isn't going to have any momentum whatsoever for quite a while now.
Yeah, he's actually going to lose the Center Overlord, which is kind of a pain.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I think he will lose that. Oh, that's so rough.
Oh, and we're going to lose this one of the 6 o'clock, so he's actually going to lose 2 Overlords here.
Oh no, that is so bad. I thought seeing the timing of the Stargate and the timing of the Spire, he would be able to save all of his Overlords, but losing 2 Overlords after all of that is really bad.
Mm-hmm. And then bleeding off a few Lings here in the front. He also lost like 4 or 5 Zerglings earlier, wasn't watching, and he had them on hold position. And Zealot's just got a bunch of free Ling kills as well.
And now he even he's forced to make sunken colonies now because his den was so late. But he's not even going to be able to. Usually, when you make sunken colonies, it's because you want to go Muta, but I don't think he can go Muta right now.
Yeah, we're only mining 1 gas really. Second one's got 1 drone on it.
Nomad being very careful though, just in case, making 2 more cannons in his main, making a cannon at his natural.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of an overreaction to go 3 cannons in his main. He saw that the third had no gas, but maybe seeing the second gas, he wants to be like extra safe, which is, you know, it's totally fine. I get it. Ironically, the natural having basically no coverage on the right side.
Yeah, this isn't one of the things that I noticed about his previous game is like he makes these cannons pretty far to the side, so one side of his mineral line is very exposed.
Yeah. So we got +1 for our Corsair. We got +1 attack is just gonna finish as the Zealots get here. It is only 5 Corsair, and I think 6+1 is typically what you're looking for to kill a bunch of Scourge, but there's not really many Scourge out.
Oh, it's 5 Corsair with +1. It will pretty much a one-shot Scourge.
Okay. Actually, I thought it was 6. The more you know. Really good drilling, though, and not gonna lose a sunken even.
I can't believe he saved that sunken. That's absolutely insane.
But we don't have enough anti-air really around. There are a few Hydras, so these Corsair are going to get pushed back, and he just wants to preserve the Corsair. He is at 6 Corsair right now, total. Or sorry, yeah, 6. So we're at 6 Corsair total with +1, so his anti-air is definitely covered this time, so we don't have to worry about our Templar dying for free. Making, what is this, 1, 2, 3 Dark Templar.
Interesting. I assume those will just be for, I mean, obviously to try to, like, you know, if he can deny an Overlord, he can get in and kill some stuff. But other than that, like, that's kind of an excessive amount of Dark Templar, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that just going to be for denying expansions?
So it's either for denying expansions or he wants to make a Dark Archon. But I think it's going to be for expansions.
Well, he's sending out 2 of them. 3 of them.
Yeah, I might use them to like kind of test the waters, make sure that Kava is covering his bases. Might just fly in with the Corsair to snipe these Overlords even. But there's 2 Overlords here. There is... It's only 8 Hydra, but I mean, DT are very squishy, so we'll see. Overlord speed is also done.
I don't know if this is worth it for Nomad.
Yeah, definitely have my doubts.
Especially since there's Overlord speed already.
That's what I was saying, like... Overlords are going to come in. I mean, I might kill an extra one. No, not quite going to get it. Going down to 23 HP.
Yeah,
so we lost...
A little too ambitious from Nomad, I think.
Yeah. Losing 3 Corsair for that's not great.
But, I mean, Kava's 4th is very late. And he's... Oh, okay. Yeah, losing these... oh, that was a monster storm.
Losing the +1 armor, though, is pretty rough. I'd love to see Nomad throw it in a second Forge now. But his armor upgrade's going to be really, really far away. And these Hydras already have +1, so... He's going to end up with +2 attack against 0 armor Protoss. And Hydra will absolutely melt through that.
He does throw down the extra Forge.
Yeah, usually if you lose your Forges, you kind of want to go for the second Forge, especially if you didn't get your upgrade out.
So it does look fairly even now, actually, but I still feel like Kava's in a really tough position getting that fourth so late. And I assume he is okay. His lurker upgrade is like 60% done right now, so that's incredibly late. If you can, oh, he doesn't even get the one. High tech
couldn't
part.
quite get it.
The one.
Yeah.
That is so rough. Otherwise, they're still equal on workers, so.
Yeah, like eco-wise, it looks fine for Kava. I mean, even on workers going up to our fourth base, but Nomad is going to be securing his third this game, and from here it's very easy for Protoss to pivot into a fourth base as well, and that's when it starts getting pretty scary for Zerg. When Protoss is on 3 gas on this map and has the mineral only, the macro can explode, and they can have like a really strong, like the 3 gas for Protoss allows for like really heavy Dragoon with lots of high Templar, and that composition can just be so hard for layer tech to deal with.
Absolutely. You mentioned you were coaching someone with Hawk earlier, and Hawk, I mean, he's a very common proponent of the fact that when you get that third gas as Protoss, you can basically make infinite high Templar and Storm.
I mean, you really can. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and Zerg can't deal with it unless they're...
Okay, we lost a high energy Templar there. And another one. And another one. Wow, really good for Kava here, killing 3 high Templar for basically no damage taken. And Nomad's pretty notorious for trying to shove up these, like, impossible to break ramps in PvZ.
Honestly, I don't blame him because, like, conceptually, I understand that it's a bad idea for Protoss to try to break up those ramps, but whenever I have, like, a handful of units there and, like, 2 lurkers and then Sunken or 2, Protoss will still just, like, walk right in and fucking kill all my shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay.
Well, definitely if you're not reacting properly as Zerg or defending properly, then it can definitely go from perfectly fine to game over out of nowhere.
It's a skill issue.
I wasn't saying it like that, but yeah, I got you. Really good initial start here for Nomad, and we have no lurkers. We got 2 more lurkers coming up behind. Nomad needs to be careful not to overcommit. Like, doing pokes and getting like good trades with your Storm and then backing up is about all you're looking for here.
Yeah, I thought that was a good trade. I mean, I think it's still good for Nomad, but it was like borderline because like he seemed to linger a little too long.
Yeah, it was just those few seconds too long.
A lot, yeah.
And it's really easy to do this as Protoss because it's like you do it in PvT all the time and PvZ, where it's like you have a good trade and you're like, oh, let me keep pushing this lead that I'm getting, and it goes from like really good to really bad in the span of like 3 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, it's impossible, like, in the heat of the moment to be, like, monitoring the health and shields of all of your units. So that breakpoint is hard to see in real time.
Yeah, it is. I'll try to say your name. Shiwab, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Little Hydra hit squad here. Maybe was looking for High Templar. Is going to get kind of caught here in the middle. Looks like a pause happened. So now if Nomad starts winning, we understand it's because something came up for Kava.
Yeah.
But right now the situation looks pretty good for Kava. Our Hive is done. Starting our Ling upgrades. Going up to 5th base. Supply looks pretty solid for Kava.
72 drones. God, that's so many drones.
Yeah, the drone count's really high.
So many drones.
Following me because I'm the best. Appreciate it. Is that David? The one thing is, Nomad is getting up to his 4th base as well, which is going to be his 3rd gas now. But once, like, Defiler tech starts coming out, it starts getting kind of hard for Protoss again. He's going to deny this top right base. I mean, base count-wise, it's totally fine for Nomad. Like, being down 1 base in this matchup is okay. Like, it's very playable.
Yeah, you definitely want. I feel like Kava definitely needs another gas
Yeah.
base very soon, and I always feel like it's very awkward at this stage of the game to like secure that. Like before the base is up, you're just relying on lurkers and like lurker eggs to stop them from coming into another main.
Mm-hmm. I will say this fifth base from Kava's not quite mining yet. He's only got 3 drums at it right now, so it hasn't not really getting any value. They're pretty close to even economy, even though he has a much larger worker lead.
And Nomad's armor, I mean, because like you mentioned earlier, the forge got sniped. Still only had 1, so. Oh wow!
You're gonna push into the high ground here.
He's trying to push in so hard here, and I'm surprised that it's working so well.
He's doing it without observers, by the way. Like, he just doesn't care. Okay, wait, there is an observer, my bad. I didn't see it here. Yeah, this is crazy. This is going really well for Nomad.
I did not expect. I mean, it's getting sort of cleaned up now, but I did not expect that to go so well for Nomad.
Yeah. Yeah, that went way better than I expected it to. Like, anytime I'm ever shoving in a high ground at this stage of the game, I feel like I'm wasting my time, but I don't know. Nomad just completely blanketing Kava with the storms, getting a really good trade, and we're backing up at a very good time this time. Yeah, the upgrades do have me a little bit concerned for Nomad, but we're about to finish. Yeah, we just finished our 2 armor. I can't see the 3 attack. It's covered up on my chat.
Oh, it's like 60%, 75% finished.
Okay.
But I do like that we're cannoning in this top right base.
Interesting.
And he's still putting on the pressure on this mineral only. I'm not sure how much I like this, but it is still... I mean, he's doing very well economically, so I think it's totally fine, and then he's just kind of creating distractions, so there's no way that this top right base is going to survive. Or, well, maybe I will stand corrected soon. But I think that those cannons will be enough to clean this up.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, so, like, Nomad should be feeling pretty good right now. He scouted bottom left and sees that there's no additional bases coming down for Kava. And he's getting this top right secured right now, so he knows that Kava's still only on 5 base while he's mounting on 4 as well, and getting ready to secure a corner base.
Yeah, and he's not only going to secure the corner base, but there's no realistic way that Kava is going to be able to stop him from taking 12 o'clock whenever he wants to.
Hey, what's up, Hawk? Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the thing, like, once he gets this base secured as well, 12 o'clock is a relatively easy base for Nomad to take later. What's up, game? We do have our Defiler Den finished. Defiler Mound, sorry, forgive me.
I can never remember the names of certain buildings.
That is Nomad, Hawk.
Forever. My entire life.
And I really like the Robo Bay. Like, even before we start our Nexus, like, getting the Robo finished up here. To start our Reaver production, because once you're getting Reavers and Storms and Cannons and stuff on high ground, it's breaking. It's not really an option for Zerg anymore.
Yeah. I mean, going back to that statistics post regarding the matchups, I mean, Zerg does have an advantage, a slight advantage in late game, but speaking from my own experience, it is so frustrating, especially when you get into like the ultra late game, when there's Dark Archons and Reavers and High Templar everywhere. It's so brutal to try to get anything accomplished at that point.
Yeah, like, I feel like Protoss playing the hyper late game well when they have like the Storms, the Reavers, the Dark Archons, and then getting to like split map-ish. Just the amount of value that Protoss can get by sitting there is pretty insane, and it's so hard for Zerg to deal with. You'll often see things like trying to make Guardians and stuff for like kind of sieging the naturals. And just like looking for like non-stop Defiler value, things like that. Yeah. I also was wondering, like, we're at 22 minutes. We had our Defiler mount for a while, and I'm seeing no Defiler still. Which You like have to be
Yeah,
playing Defiler at this point in the game.
especially if you want to break into this top right.
Yeah, I can't believe we're even trying this without Defiler.
Hava trying to take bottom left, but only 2 lurkers there, and just gets immediately busted by Protoss Ball.
Yeah. And suddenly
This
it's
is a
starting to look
situation that
really
is
rough
so
for
familiar to
Kava.
me, where I'm just I get to like a decent economy and late game hive tech, but then I just like struggle to get past that like 5 base.
Yeah, and Nomads is doing exactly what he needs to do. Just make sure that Kava's not expanding anymore, and he's eventually just going to bleed him out like this. He knows that he doesn't really have to pay attention to top right anymore, so he can just use his army on the other sides to try and trade effectively and just deny bases. Another hatchery gets killed here. And Kava's main natural mined out, third getting very low, fourth getting very low, so he's getting very close to just a one base economy now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only road forward here for Kava is finally getting like just focusing all of his efforts on bottom left and getting the natural, the main, and the mineral only secured. But then that gives Nomad so much time, even if he does accomplish that.
Mm-hmm.
And Nomad's upgrades are starting to add up here. He has 3 weapons, 2 armor upgrades. Unfortunately, he's not researching any other upgrades right now, but
Yeah, third
he's in
armor
such
is
a good
really
position
important.
economically. I'm not really sure that it's too much of an issue. Although, I guess Kava is on 3 carapace, which is one thing that's in his favor.
And we're looking at a storm drop here at the 3 o'clock base. Gonna kill just a single drone. Gonna whiff the other storm.
Really good reaction by Kava.
And drop on the other side and storm here, but not looking and losing that shuttle. And the good reaction from Kava was to drill at top right, and we lost a few drones to the cannons here.
But like you said, Kava is basically on 1 base now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
he's on 1 base, but he has pretty good supply, and he's double expanding to bottom left. And we do have a Defiler finally joining the fight here. So if he can manage to deflect this army, kind of skip this
really
base.
Good engage for Kava.
Mm-hmm.
Like, pretty much the ideal engage, I thought, but Nomad's still kind of cleaning this up a little bit.
Yeah, the fight's close. Kava has a ton of supply, but like, where is it at? We have it kind of spread out randomly. We have a bunch of Hydra over here by the 3 o'clock base. All these Scourge flying in, getting a little bit kind of over bombing certain Corsair. Does manage to kill the shuttle.
A little out of sorts there. Probably could have cleaned up both this remaining Corsair and all the obs and everything else if he was paying attention, but it seemed like, Scourge are just a notoriously stupid unit.
Yep. Alright, our first plague goes down, hitting 3-4 the High Templar here, but they're just gonna go back home, get their shields back, and I hang out for a little bit, collect more energy. But Kava does manage to deflect this, kill a bunch of observers, which is nice, because that's just more gas that goes to waste. We're actually going to turn these into Archons here for Nomad. And now we can just get our drones over here. I kind of would... If I were him, I would have felt like I need to make a Nidus, which he did make at the mineral-only base. But like, sending this across would make me so nervous. Like, if I walked into a Protoss army that was coming, the game's just over, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All that being said, we're going to make it over just fine, and we're going to get back to mining.
Drop at 3 o'clock.
They're going to force the evacuation of this base. And Nomad, or Kava's like 0 mining right now.
Yeah. And he doesn't have speed yet. That's so surprising.
Yeah.
I figured he would have shuttle speed. Nomad would have shuttle speed by now.
Well, we're getting Scarab damage. So we are getting some upgrades from it. Looks like we did notice that we didn't have our 3rd armor eventually. I don't hate plasma shields either. Like once you're getting to like late game, I guess his bank's like not crazy, so maybe he doesn't want to spend money on that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it is like the most expensive upgrade in the game, so I get it.
I'm actually surprised that he hasn't tried to take 12 o'clock yet.
Yeah, it just feels like he doesn't need it.
I just feel like it's a free base.
Yeah, I agree. At this stage in the game, because Kava has to focus so much on defending this base. There's no way he could like get up there to try and deny. Like coming across the map to try and deny that base is not an option for him.
Mm-hmm.
The finally goes down to that scarab. The other side was semi versus ranged. We did that cast earlier. Right, probably gonna have this like little hit squad move out. Not sure what the plan is exactly. Maybe looking for this minute only base or
12, I guess, but he already knows that there's no 12, so it is kind of strange.
I'm gonna draw him to the natural over here even, but might be able to deny it.
Oh yeah. That's exactly what he's doing. But
we got these two Reavers on the top.
For bottom left though, because there's this huge Protoss ball with like a bunch of Reavers, and Kava really needs everything that he can get there just to stop this, because these Reavers are going to clean up shop. Unfortunately, yeah, I mean, Dark Swarm is nice, but it's not enough to stop this. But
yeah,
maybe there just isn't enough to stop this.
He is gonna bring everything over and give it a shot, but I agree. I think I mean, Kava's down 60 supply right now against a very like efficient Protoss army here with Reaver, Storm, Archon. Might be able to push this back, but I mean, Nomad's like almost maxed right now, and losing any drones right now, being forced off of mining, this is all just extra pain here for Kavapu. Maybe not even gonna be able to clean this up even.
He has 3 storms right now. You're not even using them. Maybe he doesn't need to.
I'm sure that's a choice he's making, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so Kava barely cleans that up, but...
He barely cleans it up, but even getting pushed off the mining on the natural just hurts so much with how low our income is right now. Another wave of Zealots coming in with another Reaver. I'm gonna kill some of the eggs before they hatch. Bunch more storms coming now, and I think this is gonna be the end of the game here.
Yeah, whenever you have to try to use lurkers in any kind of offensive capacity, it's a pretty dire situation. Not that I guess this isn't technically offensive, but whenever you have to move lurkers, it's a dire situation.
When lurkers are no longer allowed to sit there and attack things.
He does storm 2 of his bombs.
I mean, it's a really good observer killer.
Yeah, I wonder which player has killed more observers in this game.
Pretty sure it's Nomad. But yeah, no matter Kava just sending like the last little bits of units he can scrape together trying to defend this base, but Nomad's just gonna keep coming and barely gonna break through here. Retaking the natural here at the top right. And I feel like this just kind of spells good game for Kavapu here. Nomad just needs to just make sure he gets one more base up and going, and he's good to go, I feel. We're gonna transfer these probes to this lurker, and we might lose several of them.
Oh my gosh, well, okay, that's more than I expected. I was just about to say, like, one lurker isn't going to kill any significant amount of probes. But, bye lurker.
Yeah, and Kava's just too broke to, like, muster together an army to try and deny this base anymore. I mean, these Reavers have been getting value all game. This Reaver on the front has 25 kills on this Reaver.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Kava right now. Technically, he's still on 2 bases,
Yeah,
and
technically.
Nomad is on 1.
Nomad's starting to mine distance is 12 o'clock. Long distance.
Pretty soon to be 2 though, and he's finally looking to take 12 o'clock.
He's just mining from it. This is considered taken at this point. It's fine.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, this will be kind of the last hoorah with 3 storms on the Side Templar cannons and these 2 reavers. I think.
Okay, well that went about as well as I would have expected. Honestly, better than I expected.
Yeah, better than I expected. But we don't have a Overlord here for this DT. I guess we will deny the base at least. But in the meantime, Nomad did take this opportunity to break up this ramp. And with this base going down,
yeah.
this is kind of GG for Kava. We have no more mining anymore. Just this tiny little bit at 3 o'clock.
Yeah, and 1 base against 1 base ZVP is not ideal for Zerg.
No, definitely not.
Usually needs to have at least a 1 base advantage.
Right.
At least. We'll see if we can stop this army from coming down. And, okay, we can't.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we can't. It was a scouting defiler. And another DT just being really annoying and not an Overlord nearby. We even made a Zerg Queen. Just whatever we can make.
Yeah, Queens are one of the units that you do need when you go into a hyper late game, but I don't think Kava is really set up for that kind of...
Yeah, I mean, he just never quite could get his eco where like there was a brief period in mid game where his eco was really strong, and then he just could not get beyond his 5 bases for the rest of the game.
I'm wondering, okay.
G.
About to say, I'm wondering why Kava's next with this queen.
Alright, so Nomad gonna take the final game of the set, making him our 2nd finalist for our favorite matchup in the finals, a PvP.
Truly the North American matchup.
Truly.